Hello, my name is Justin Land, and today I'm with Daniel Scranton. He's a channeler, a healer, and I'm sure he does many other things that I'd like to hear about. How you doing, Daniel?
Good. How are you, Justin?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, it's a bit early my time, 4:30 in the morning, and
Oh,
but I like it. I mean, it's a different vibe, so
yeah.
yeah, just have my coffee, so I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, that full moon energy can keep you awake.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I was just looking out the window now. It's amazing. A lot of things going on in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I've been following you for quite some time. You have a lot of material and you've done a lot of very cool channeling. Maybe you can just start off a little bit with yeah, how you got into channeling. That's always a good start.
Well, oh man, I was more interested in other people's channeling than me doing it. That's for sure. I started out with conversations with God. That would be like the very first thing I think I encountered. And I really got into the Seth books after that. And then I was so into Abraham Hicks that I was like flying all over the country and all over the world to see them. I'd go on their cruises and everything, and
Wow.
I just really ensconced myself in it, in
Mhm.
the world of it, and I would listen to all the Abraham workshops on CD as well, the ones I didn't attend, and even the ones I did, I would still listen to the CDs. And I never thought of myself as a person who could do this. And I was 37 when it happened. So 38, actually. It was 38.
Hmm.
Um, so I was just doing my thing, like really enjoying, like, you know, other people's channeled material and not thinking of myself as one. And all of a sudden, things started happening. I was doing Reiki on someone, and I noticed my hands would move by themselves. And then, they'd start to do this like windshield wiper motion. And then my head started to go like this while I was doing the energy healing. And then my mouth started moving, and I'd go. And that
Hmm.
was the moment when I thought, maybe I'm going to be a channel someday. I don't know. So that was in January-ish of 2010. It's hard to remember exact dates,
Hmm.
but I do remember what happened it was early March. It was like the first weekend of March when I had this amazing experience of energy coming in through my head while I was lying in bed. I'd just woken up from a dream, and in the dream I turned to someone and said, "I understand now about the other beings." And the next thing I know, I'm downloading just all this energy in my body. It's just moving from head to toe and feels so much like ecstasy and so beyond anything I've ever felt before or since, that, as I'm going through it and first just in awe of it, I then start to think about like what it means. And one of the things I thought was, well, what does it have to do with that dream? And then I thought, well, what does it have to do with aliens? Because I knew in the dream when I said other beings, I meant aliens, because the guy in the dream is the current videographer for Abraham. And he was always way more into this ET stuff than I was. So I just thought it was kind of like insignificant to our lives. I knew they were out there. I didn't think it mattered. But then here I am having this totally unexpected experience when I'm not really even interested in ETs. And when I thought, what does this have to do with aliens? I got a huge surge of that energy. So then I just kept thinking the word aliens over and over again because I wanted to feel the surges again. And then I asked some questions, and if I asked a question where the answer was yes, I would get a huge surge of energy moving through me. If I asked a question where the answer was no, then nothing would happen. So this went on for a while before I thought maybe I can see them in the room with me. So I took my eye mask off, and it's like 2:30 in the morning, and I opened my eyes, and there's no one in the room with me, but it was like the surges started all over again. It was
Mm,
like the intensity just went right back to where it was when it first started. So that went on for a while, then it stopped, and then I sort of dedicated myself from that moment to getting into that state. Like if I can somehow elicit that type of feeling on my own, that would
mm,
be amazing. So I had already been a daily meditator for 10 years, meditated for at least an hour every day. And now I was meditating and trying to feel energy move through my body. And I got pretty good at it, but never did I get to the point where I would say it was anywhere close to what I experienced that night. And then I also had an experience with going really deep into meditation and feeling like I was like dry heaving,
mm,
like when you're throwing up, but there's nothing left to throw up. Um, so my body would go into this state of like convulsion. And that was just from going deep into meditation. So I then thought, well, something wants to come up and out of me, is what it feels like. So I then was at an Abraham workshop in October of 2010. I was fortunate enough to be able to ask them about what was going on with me, because it was happening at the workshop, the dry heaves. And they said, yes, you're going to do this thing that is called channeling, that they don't really call it that, but you're going to do it, but you've got some resistance to it. So you just have to get over that. And the
mm,
only way to get over it is to go through it. So you just have to keep doing what you're doing, and you'll move through the experiences you're having. And that's exactly what I did. I just sat with someone just like you and I are over the
mm,
computer. And she would wait patiently for me to speak, and I would just do a lot of this. And
mm,
and the energy would just be all up in my body, but no words coming out. So it was very frustrating. But eventually I spoke. And first, even before I spoke like just consonants, just sounds like p, p, p,
mm,
t, 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 k, k, k. And then I spoke for the first time. I said, "We are here for you." And that's what the creators always say. The group I've been channeling the longest, they always say that when they come in. So
mm.
ever since about November, I'd say 2010, I've been doing this channeling thing.
Oh, just right before the big wave of 2012. You know, a lot of channels came out of that, like 2012, 2013.
2012, interestingly enough, was the time when I really started to take it seriously and put it out there.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's always a lot of the channels I've talked to. It's that first phase of you getting it, and then still putting it out there is another step. It's always, and I know with the way what impressed me the most was you, obviously your contortions of your face and your movements. It was obvious that this was not a process that everybody would just put out there so openly. But I found that very authentic, of course, the way you did that. And that's what really, and the material itself always proves itself. It's like, yeah, it's this genius and intelligence pure. And I'm curious why the Arcturians said they don't refer to it as, sorry, the creators. They don't, I don't know which, they don't refer to it as channeling. You said that they have a different understanding of what's going on.
Well, it's Abraham who doesn't say the word channeling.
Abraham
The,
doesn't, yeah.
the reason they don't is because they feel that that word gets used for a lot of things that what Esther does isn't. So they don't want Esther's work to be lumped together
Mm,
with the stuff that it isn't, is their reasoning for not saying it's channeling.
okay,
Say
interesting.
that she's blending with Abraham.
Yes. And you're the same as happening with you, right? Would you say?
Oh, I in the now 7 years I've been teaching channeling to people too, I've come to realize that it really is, that's really what it is. It's a merging It's a coming together. It's a collaboration. It's not me, the ventriloquist dummy, and them, the ventriloquist, just
Mm,
using my body to, you know, speak what they want to say. It's very much about a meeting of the mind, so to speak.
mm. When you're channeling, you're a conscious channel, right? You're as
Yeah.
you're so um I know that what I see on YouTube now is mostly the Arcturian Council that comes
Mhm.
through you.
Nowadays, yeah.
That like
I
you just feel the
others
most comfortable with them? Is that
Well, I feel like I'm on a journey with them now for 4
mm,
years of getting deeper and deeper into their material, and they're the only ones. So since I've been doing them for 4 years, and prior to that, I had done a bunch of other beings
mm,
with daily messages. I had done the Palladian High Council of Seven, the Creators, the Hathors, Ophelia the Fairy, Kuan Yin, the Founders. There's probably more I can't think of right now, but I even did the Zetas for a little while. I even did the Unicorn Collective for a little while. Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel. So because I've done the Arcturian so consistently now,
mm,
not only do I feel like there's an expectation from people
mm,
that I'm going to channel the Arcturians, and so that plays a part in it, but I also feel like I've been able to go deeper with them than
mm.
anybody else.
Yeah, yeah, that's I think you're doing it on a daily basis, right, with the Arcturian Council.
Six times. I decided to give myself a night off.
Yeah, no, it's and for me, it's interesting because I did you know, almost a year ago, somebody told me in my field are two Arcturians and maybe somebody from Sirius or something, and there seems like an Arcturian connection going on with a lot of people I've noticed in the channeling community. Is there a particular reason for this? Are they coming up more because of the acceleration of the
Yeah,
energies?
definitely.
Okay.
It's definitely because they see that we're ready for them,
Hmm.
and they've had more of like a hands-off approach to humanity for a long time, and now they're getting more involved because of the necessity for it, really. Yeah.
Yeah, that's and now the I'm very familiar with, of course, the Essassani, the Yael. This what Bashar's put forth his material.
Right.
The Arcturians also, of curiosity, in that relationship, are they a hybridized race with the, or they're totally different than the lineage of the Essassani or the Yael, right?
To my knowledge, there are no human Arcturian hybrids, but
Mm,
don't I don't know everything, obviously.
mm,
Um, but the Arcturians I channel are definitely not, because they're a non-physical consciousness at this point. They've ascended to the ninth dimension.
right. So yeah, they don't have a planet, so to say. They're just
They're just that's where they're from.
mm,
So that's the energy that they carry, and
mm,
what they represent. And I think they want to project that, the best of what Arcturus has
mm.
to offer.
Okay, no, it's and the now the creators, I love that name. And that was the first beings that came through you.
Yeah.
Now does you channel so many various beings, so you recognize them immediately by their energy. I'm guessing is a very unique,
Mm,
saying like the creators to the Arcturians. Does that feel
no.
different? Okay.
um, they feel very similar,
Mm,
actually.
okay. Wow.
Now, Ophelia, the fairy, feels very different. Any of the feminine ones I channel are very different feeling to me. Um, and Buddha, Archangel Michael, Yeshua, they all kind of fall into the same feeling category as well.
Mm. You mean they feel more feminine?
No, they're just, I could lump them together into one
Okay. Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
Then there's the females, and then there's the the Zetas and the Quaranthians are very similar feeling too. They're both physical
Mhm.
terrestrial beings. So
Okay, so
uh,
the feeling of a non-physical, pure non-physical being is different than it's going to be from a physical being.
yeah, and I think I was thinking about this the other day, like people like Daryl Anka and Lisa Royal Holt, and I'll try to think of a third one, but I can't. Oh, Treb with Rob Gauthier.
Mhm.
They're all physical, they're all channeling physical ETs, and they all have traditionally gone into a trance-like state to do
Mm.
so.
Yes.
And I I don't know if that's because of the technology that's being used
Mm.
in order to make the connection on the part of the ET beings.
Mm.
Whereas with a non-physical collective, you don't need any
Mm.
sort of gadgetry to
Yes.
make it happen. So I think it can be a little bit easier on the person.
Mm.
I
Uh,
know Daryl now will only channel Bashar for like an hour and a half tops or something in a day
mm.
because he feels like it's too much on
Yeah.
his body, too much on his consciousness too. Like he has
Mm.
a hard time differentiating or has a hard time like coming back to the
Mm.
world that we all live in.
But for you, it's different because you don't go into that full. He's not even there. Right? It seems like he's like in a different energetic realm, but you're still
Yeah.
here, which is
Yeah.
and that was an interesting point. I'm glad you pointed that out. That I didn't notice that. I'll have to check out the and you know that if the entity is. I mean, obviously, Bashar is supposed to be both physical, non-physical, going a little bit.
Yeah. They, on his way to non-physical for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that I didn't think about that. That the actual full trance state
Mm.
maybe being more conducive to the techniques being used by another physical being who might need some sort of tool, or who knows if it's a crystal or something that they're doing that they're.
Yeah. It's just a theory.
Yeah, but I love that. I love that. It's a new idea that I never thought of, and that's because it is a. And what interests me also is like obviously, can we channel into their reality? That's the obviously the next question that and I've.
Well, I think they read our consciousness pretty clearly.
Hmm. But that you would have experiences on their planet, if, for example, if there was a planet, like could you channel
Um,
yourself
I've
into?
actually heard through someone else that Rob Gauthier has astrally projected himself to Trev's.
Oh, he's seen it. I mean,
Yeah.
he's. Oh wow. And because Rob Gauthier, it was coming up before you mentioned him, because the two energies that he does channel is Treb, and then the Alderan, what's it? Eridif, a masculine and feminine, and they're so different.
I think they're both masculine.
Are you
Because
sure?
I asked him that one time when I saw a depiction of Ardif, and he's like, "No, that's a dude."
No, well, Treb though is very feminine. I mean,
Oh, okay.
Treb is the one that's because here's the serious mode of like the Ardif, and then when you watch for example, the interviews with Extra Dimensionals with Ruben Langdon,
Yeah, yeah.
he channeled both of them for him, and then you can see the very distinct differences. And Treb was moving around a lot, and even standing up out of the chair, and this and wavering. Ardif is just like cross-legged, chill, and like matter of fact, kind of where, and the information is the same basically, so you can tell it just.
Right.
But it's like, oh, this is a very different energy or being that's coming through, and yeah, I don't know what that's like for for Rob Gauthier with how that feels. I'm not sure if he also goes somewhere else necessarily. I think
Yeah, he's in a trance.
he's in a trance. Okay, yeah, wow. Hmm. And yeah, wow. I actually there's a. Have you heard of well, you've heard walk-ins, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I just so I just found about the concept through Alan Steinfeld. I want he's
Yeah.
creating this. You've heard about it. He's making a workshop or like a meeting of 22 walk-ins, and they're putting it on in, I guess, beginning of January. And I saw that Rob Gauthier was on that list of walk-ins. So I'm very curious. Are you a walk-in?
No.
Okay. Yeah. It's also
And I
very
don't
interesting.
and I don't do a Christopher Walken impression either.
What's that?
You know Christopher Walken?
Okay, very good. Bada
No,
bing. Yeah,
everybody does a Christopher Walken impression except me.
no, that's good. Nice. He's a good. I mean, he's a great
I'm,
actor.
yeah, he was in the movie Communion.
Wait a second.
Right?
Was he in
Sorry,
Communion?
I'm
Seriously?
losing
Yeah.
my lighting here, so
No worries, man.
I think we're
Yeah.
losing the sun. So I'm gonna try to get under.
So, how's life in Hawaii?
Great.
I mean, it's like if we had a choice of like, yeah, for energetics and just well-being, I mean, I feel like drawn to the idea of a, Hawaiian
Yeah,
lifestyle.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Since when have you been there?
I've lived here for 6 years.
6 years. So was I mean, obviously, uh, did you just like say, I want to go to Hawaii, or how'd you make that? Because that's like a choice. I feel like anybody goes to Hawaii, often it's because it's really like their dream choice to go there.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was, well, it had been for me for a long time, and I'd forgotten about it. I had totally forgotten about my dream to live here until a psychic told me and my ex that we should move somewhere where there's a volcano. And then I thought, oh, the Big Island has a volcano. So that's where we actually moved to originally. And now I'm in Maui.
Because of a volcano, that's like what some people say, don't move there because of a active
You know,
volcano.
well, there are other factors too, like being close to the ocean,
Hmm.
you know.
I mean, that it
That
is.
was also part of,
Vortex. Is it
what's
one of the
that?
Earth? Is it one of the Earth vortexes, or what are the energy?
This is right here
Yeah.
in Maui. Yeah.
Is that one of the chakras, or what
That's
is?
what they say. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Do you know which one?
some people say heart.
Wow.
In fact, Bashar says heart.
Okay. He's actually. I usually go with Bashar in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Very cool. It's and the actual culture, the Hawaiian culture, that spirituality, does that appeal to you as well? The way they viewed life and still do.
Well, I mean, it's people talk about it, but I mean, it's great. The energy here is wonderful.
Hmm. Yeah,
It,
it's yeah.
it's very you'll have no trouble like finding a spiritual event to go to here.
Hmm. It's probably similar to Sedona in Arizona. A little, and there's these hotbeds of spirituality popping up, and
Yeah,
I think even like in places like North Carolina, something's coming up. I've heard
Asheville.
Nashville, Atlanta. But Bashar's mentioned that that's the mayor of Sedona, and I've been wow.
It is.
Uh, yeah, it's
I guess it's named after Atlantis, so
yeah, it's there's something going on there. I mean, the transformation that's a way of living. I think the multi-culti aspects as well, and everything, and
yeah.
that does draw so much creativity. I'm in Germany, and I can see some parts are ascending in a different way. I mean, just like these connections of like creativity happening in certain locations, and it's definitely some sort of grid
Hmm.
going on here on different parts of the planet. And this has made it so easy to connect with people, obviously, on all over the place. And this is obviously, I love the opportunity. And yeah, I guess the other work you do is with obviously energy healing, energetics. You were doing that before you start channeling, or did you?
Yeah, I mean, I had a Reiki level 1 attunement, and then when I had my big like Reiki experiences, I got attuned into level 2, and I didn't get my level 3 till after I had already been channeling. So
What do you mean by attuned? Is it a
it's
test, or how do they attune you?
that's what they call it. It's like the master is giving you is like anointing you sort of with the energies of
Okay.
Reiki. And but you also do, you have to learn things, and you have to be able to repeat things to them and symbols and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it's obviously very big for a lot of channelers of doing energy work. And
Yeah,
the then you do you can you read auras and stuff like this as well, or how do
not
you?
really. I mean, I see auras if I really concentrate,
Mm, yeah.
but not colors, just the white
Mm,
coming off the person, white light.
okay. And do the when is people is there energy work? There's obviously a lot of tonality stuff going on when with your balancing when you're getting into the channel state, and I have noticed that the intonations that you're giving and the energy work, it's also for the viewer to kind of balance themselves out as well. You get that impression? Or
Exactly what it is. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's and I mean very meditative, and I do appreciate that you include that part in front of all of your challenges, because obviously anybody just coming upon these videos, the first 3 minutes they're going to be like,
Yeah, they might be turned off.
you're not doing it for popularity. That's clear.
Yeah, we like weed out the ones who.
Just the hardcore people are like, oh, this is it. Yeah, and I feel like, yeah, that it was is out of curiosity is because of the face contortions, and is there some sort of, there's no resistance on your part, right? Or
Oh,
no, it's just
just,
how they feel into your body.
yeah, just letting all of it happen.
Mm. And they have obviously being non-physical, they don't even know how to. I mean, the body feels probably very strange to them, correct, from their perspective, or is that?
Or my body's reacting in a way to them. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like
Yes.
there was like getting to know you period in the
Mm.
beginning, and then I got comfortable enough to really just let it come through me, and
Mm.
you know, then I could speak and all that. So
But it's the obviously uh, to get into the channel state takes a bit of time for you. I mean, like you need beforehand quiet and peace, and then
mm,
the preparation, right?
yeah, I would recommend that to people, especially who are just starting out, um, to make sure that you're in the right space to do it. You know what I mean? Like you want to come to it from a place of already feeling pretty good
Mm.
where you attempt to channel.
What would you be channeling different entities if you're not in a good place?
Well, that's a possibility.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. Now I mean, have you channeled entities that are not love and light?
Only one time, and it was very brief. It was
Mm.
at a breath work um, class where, well, not really a class, but just like a breathwork exercise that I was doing. And I worked with this teacher many times, and it had never happened before, but someone was on the floor next to me, obviously having a lot of trauma that they were releasing. There was a lot of screaming.
Mm.
So I must have picked up on something that she was releasing and channeled it for just like 5 seconds.
You mean you were screaming as well, or some
No,
vocal?
I said, I don't know if you want me to swear or not on the.
Go ahead, please. This is no
I
kids are watching
said,
this.
suck and fuck, fucking suck, fucking suck. Something like
Wow.
that. Yeah.
No, but you caught yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and then you're doing her a service too, I guess, because I mean, you're probably expressing something that she was expressing to herself anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think people, they need, we need to see these reflections as well. There's like a woman in the park here who has a dog, completely normal looking, right? But she's walking around, and this is in German, but she's like, kill them all, or something like, motherfucker, it's like, and you wonder if she's talking to you as she walks by, but then she just keeps on walking, and it's like, but then I can clearly say, okay, I know that some, she's dealing with it, just, polarity of some sort, and it's her fear or whatever. And it's like, it's nice when it's so open like that too, and I think, it's like, my question is often, they're reflecting something to us as well. These, people on the streets who are channeling everybody, especially people, because the channeling through a negative kind of like constriction is also information, that they feel impelled to say something like,
Yeah.
your shirt looks horrible, something like out of nowhere, it's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, nothing's random, right? So if you're thinking about like, oh man, I look like crap today.
Get it in your face. You're like, okay. I mean, but that's honest. That's I think that's why we need that too. We need those negative channelers of some sort of, they have a certain honesty about their negativity, and that's what you want to have. You don't want to always hear that, everything is great when it doesn't feel great, right? That's also like, okay, you do want a few, people in your circle maybe are a little bit not cynical, but I guess a different perspective that,
Yeah, yeah.
it's no, it's definitely and for if I were to, I know you're not going to do it now, but I mean, could you actually get, because I know you always do the channelings into the video. Do you have you done a lot of channelings for people on, live? And I mean, you offer it obviously.
Person, you mean face to face?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
plenty.
because yeah, most of the times in the videos, it's obviously you're doing a daily message, and it's not from a question and answer kind of situation. It's
Right.
just them purely coming through. Are you setting some sort of intentions for what kind of information you want to put out there, or they're just completely free?
I have no clue what they're going to talk about. And I don't want to influence it at all. So I
Mm,
don't want to be like, hey, let's talk about this thing that's going on. In
mm,
fact, when the virus started and the channelings were like night after night about the virus, I was like, oh man, this is getting really boring and repetitive, and I don't
mm,
want to channel about this all the time.
mm. But you couldn't control that. They felt it was important.
I could stop.
Mm,
I could have stopped it. I have that option.
mm. Well,
But
your latest messages are not. I mean, like it's getting very quite positive, and I really
yeah,
like the message, of course, that in your postings. You started typing them before, like I think before you just did the YouTube, and it was and then now you've actually typed up the transmissions.
no, I've always typed them up.
Oh, okay.
Always appear on camera though when I did the channeling.
Mm,
I just did the recorded audio on YouTube with a picture.
mm, okay. And have you gotten, I mean, what kind of resonance have you gotten? Because you put yourself really out there into the world, and I'm just curious, like also the not so positive for people who just don't understand this. How do you?
Well, there's definitely that, but like we were saying before, those people have kind of gotten filtered out over the years, like
Hmm.
they don't keep coming back to torture me.
Right. Not repeat
Definitely
customers.
the early videos, there was a lot of this guy's insane sort of stuff.
Yes. No, I mean, and yeah, I think I feel like that you didn't give up and you kept on doing it. I mean, some people, they get a couple of really negative feedback, like, and they take it very personally. But I
Yeah,
think that's part of the game, is just to learn to ignore that and know it's always out there for somebody, that it's it's a perfect match, and it's not going to match with certain people who are not
yeah,
ready.
that's for sure.
It's no, but I really appreciate what you're doing, and I'm actually organizing with Alan Steinfeld and we did a little channel panel together, and we want to do another one we're doing one in February and March, and we want to do one just with ETs. And the concept is 3 channelers at the same time. First in the non-channel state, talking a little bit about a topic, and then answering questions, and then getting into the channeled state. And I found that the dynamic of 3 or 2 or 3 channelers very interesting. Have you've done that before, where you're channeling with other channelers at the same time?
Mhm.
Okay, and no, it's and if yeah, if you're interested, maybe in sometime taking part in that, that would be awesome, because yeah, I think it's an energy that I think there's, it does it does add an extra dimension to from my perspective to some of the channelings, when you like one is adding to the other, and you
Yeah,
know it's yeah. So if you're interested, I can send you some details sometime. And
sure.
yeah, cool, man. No, yeah, I'm very actually, because I'm a bit tired. I probably just come through. My energy is not the highest at the, but it's been perfect. Yeah, so yeah, I think and yeah, if you, I wish you a wonderful day in Hawaii, and maybe let's do it another time. Maybe if another time of day would be possible. I know you're what is it? It's 5:30. What time is it there now?
Almost, 6 something, it's 6 something now.
Okay.
6:00.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, you're totally on the other side of the world. Yeah, but yeah, it's been a pleasure, and do it again. I mean, just maybe, yeah, and keep doing what you're doing. And know that I think of all the channelers, it seems like you're definitely resonating with a lot of people, and I've seen like you've built a very strong following, and I think that um, especially this time, this is, you know, and then those that are just doing it like every day, I really appreciate that too. Just like, because I used to saying before, there's some sort of resistance, because obviously the ego and the persona doesn't understand
Yeah.
keep doing this, but it's just for somebody out there, it just does, just needs to hear that one more time,
Yeah, yeah. True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why there's so many of us doing it now.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
There'll be like a clump of people that resonate with what I'm doing, and a clump of people that resonate with what someone else is doing, and so on and so on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. Cool. Daniel, then I wish you a wonderful day. And
Thanks.
till next time, yeah.
Have a great day there in Germany.